Hello everyone. So for years I warned about this. For years and years and years I said about this, that there will be some quisling traitor to this country that will sell his country out for money. Not for the he doesn't care about the love of the country or the love of the people or serving the people, particularly when you're a civil servant. And speaking as a civil servant myself, obviously a low ranking civil servant, because I would never get to the top job as somebody that cares about the people of Ireland, cares about the country. My great grandmother was on commission among the Irish Women's Army, had to fight, had to serve during the War of Independence, fought for the very identity of the state. And we have foreign nationals, non-nationals. That this fellow came in 2002. Think about that. Came in 2002, probably got a free everything handed to him from Ukraine. Was let in, was allowed to stay, got a job, probably 100k a year. Who knows? Working in the Irish Civil Service. Now we don't know what department. He worked in the government department. And he's 45, and he's originally from Ukraine. He's got his Irish citizenship. He should be revoked. He's a traitor to his country, and he should be sent to the front lines in Ukraine. And he's a traitor to Ukraine, first of all, too, because he wouldn't go and fight in Ukraine. You'd think as soon as it happened, he would go straight away to fight for Ukraine, but he has no loyalty to anybody, apparently. He has no loyalty to Ireland, he's no loyalty to Ukraine. I don't know what he's loyal to, but he's loyal to his money. That's how I say it to him, because he was definitely not doing it for nothing. He was doing it for money. So we don't know what country it was he was selling our country out for. But it's high treason, and it needs to be looked at as a punishment for him, because this is high treason, because as the judge stated, and I quote what the judge said, these were very serious documents that endangered the state. That's the word to remember. And how serious it was. Usually in this country, fully suspended sentences, let off, free bail, etc. But it shows you that the judge refused to let him out on bail. That just shows you how serious this was. This was a serious incident. And we subsequently found out that 45 other members of the civil service in different departments have been under investigation for maybe leaking out information, etc. But that's a different story for a different day. But he was in junior management grade in the civil service, so we don't know what department, but I presume it's the Department of Defence or Department of Foreign Affairs, something serious anyway. But what I'm trying to say is I don't know should foreign nationals, people from Ukraine, even Europe, from abroad, should ever be allowed, apart from the lowest level of the civil service, cleaning the streets, etc., the local authority, or even working on the desk, etc., taking phone calls, maybe something like that. But when it comes to higher management and stuff like that, even if you're not originally you're from Ireland, etc., and even go you get Irish citizenship, I don't know. Because the simple thing is, and I've said this before, and I don't mean any offence to anybody, I would say the same thing for an Irish person. If they worked in, say, the German government or the French government, their own citizens should come first. Their own citizens should have the big job. Why should an Irish citizen walk into Germany and get a job in the civil service, say, for example, the Department of Foreign Affairs in Germany? Why should they? Simple as that. And I would say that to an Irish citizen. You have no business taking the job of a German person in, say, a ministry's job, etc. You shouldn't be there. You should be cleaning the street or either working on an office desk, etc. That's the very limit. You shouldn't be on the higher levels of the civil service in any country, and I say that to any Irish citizen. But this is the thing, they don't have any loyalty, and the simple as that, they don't have loyalty compared to, say, and I don't mean to put myself in the past, but I couldn't give a shit about money. I couldn't care less. If I wouldn't be doing this. If I cared about money, I would have kept my mouth shut and got a big job in Dublin, but I never did. I always stood up for what I believed in. And he didn't clearly believe in anything, but what I'm trying to say is, a lot of these people who come in from other countries, they don't believe in Ireland. They never had to, wouldn't fight for Ireland if it came to it. What I mean by that is, my grandmother, who sacrificed a lot to hide people in her house, she took huge risk. Hiding guns, hiding weapons from the Black and Tans, the OIC, the British occupier during the War of Independence. And we all know what that would have been if she was caught. There wouldn't be any courts. There would be just a straight bullet to the head, unfortunately. And that would be the end of it. And her whole house would have been burnt to the ground. That would have been what would have happened to her. It would have never been a court trial. But what I'm trying to say is, I owe it to her, and I owe it to the people who fought for Irish independence to be fair to the state, to always try and defend the state, defend the people above all else. That's what mattered to James Connolly and Arthur Griffith, etc. The people of Ireland, not anything else. They couldn't give a damn about money. They never cared about money. And that's a good Irish civil servant when you have people like that. And the simple thing is that there's too many people at the top, even in Cavan here. There's too many of them at the top. They give too much. They care too much about money. Money's their god. And when you have that, and when you have civil servants that think too much about their own status and their own paycheck, that's when you have serious issues. And unfortunately, the civil servants in this country, there's people, too many of them. There's too many of them. And there's people who want to do things. And I want to do things for society, to help society, not for my own care. I couldn't give a damn about myself. I could be dead in a week's time. So what the fuck does it matter, the money? But for the people, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. That's what they fought for this country. For the people of this country, not for fucking big civil servants that get their big fucking checks. And that's as simple as that. And again, it infuriates me that we have people like this that would betray their country. And again, especially because he was let in, he was allowed to stay, he was given a nice cushy job. And he betrayed it. Simple as that. And we have to generally ask ourselves, should people from other countries who come in and get these jobs, what I'm talking about, if it's an office job at the desk, fine, maybe ads from the phone or cleaning up after them, etc., cleaning the toilets. But I would say the same goes for Irish citizens working in other countries. If they were working for the government, say for example in Germany, as I said, or in France, they have no right to be a big civil servant in the Department of Foreign Affairs or in the Department of Defence. They have no right. That's their people's business. That's who should be in their jobs. Their own people. But I think this is very serious. It's really is very, very serious. Especially because looking what the judge said, it's very serious. It really is very serious. But I don't know what exactly he was doing. But it is very serious, and we don't know what country he was working for, and we don't know how long. This is the next thing. We don't know how long he was working for the country. Was he from day one? Did he come into this country and sell out the country? What I mean by that is, from day one since he arrived in 2002, was he working for a foreign intelligence agency, or was it just in the last few years? We don't know that too. So he could have been here all his life, spying on us, telling other countries what we're doing, other foreign countries, as was always people who are threats to this state. We don't know, we don't know, and clearly he had no loyalty. Clearly had no loyalty to Ukraine. As I said, he didn't go off and fight straight away when the war started. He'd think when he's originally from Ukraine, he would want to fight for Ukraine, but he didn't, and he didn't care about Ireland either, because he was willing to sell us out for whatever he was offered, probably 30 pieces of silver. But he is a traitor. He's a traitor. There's no doubt about it. His Irish citizenship should be revoked, and at the very least, either he gets prison, or even harsher. And would say we had to bring back harsher laws to deal with people like this. But I would suggest that we send them off to the Ukraine war and let him fight against the Russians, because that's where he should be. But he deserves no mercy. He deserves no mercy whatsoever, and it's unforgivable, especially him being a foreign national, who was given the opportunity. He was given an opportunity. We give him a chance, and unfortunately threw it all in our face. And he betrayed. He didn't even just throw it all of our face. He betrayed the people. He betrayed their trust. And as a civil servant, you're supposed to have to trust the people. How can any civil servant, high-ranking civil servant, sit there in the Department of Foreign Affairs, in the Department of Justice, sit there at the moment and say, yeah, this is great? Because it puts everybody in the country, every civil servant, even the lowest rank like myself, it puts us in a terrible position where we have to see such a thing like this happen. That civil servants, and there is good civil servants that are doing their best, they're working hard for the people of this country. And unfortunately they've been left behind, and we have people like this at the top, basically. We have people like this in the middle, basically, not at the very top, but in the middle. And there's people who work their arse off in the civil service and the state treats them like shit. It doesn't make any sense, but I really hope this fella gets what coming to him. And he is a traitor to his country. And there should be no remorse shown to this fella. And he should, at very least, if he does get prison, he should never get out of it. He should stay the rest of his life there. But yeah, no, it's scandalous now. But what I was saying is, we have to look at it, because at the end of the day, if we asked this fellow, he would say he have no loyalty to anything, because there's people like that. Unfortunately, not all people from other countries, but what I'm trying to say is, for national security reasons too, we should, because people who are loyal to Ireland, lived in Ireland all their life. As I say, their parents fought in the War of Independence, fought for Irish freedom, sovereignty, etc. They're very unlikely, because it's true blood, it's true sweat and tears, and they're the people we want. They're the people that were here all their life. Their families were here all their life. Their families fought for independence from the British. They're the people we want in government. They're the people we want as civil servants. They're the true Irish civil servants. But yeah, this fellow, I hope God forgives him. That's all I say, because there's no forgiveness he look for in this country. Nobody's going to forgive him for what he has done. And again, high treason. That's what I say. But anyway, do let me know what you think. Because again, I have no time for traitors that betray this country, that were willing to sell it out for 30 pieces of silver. And that's the simple truth. For the 30 pieces of silver, I hope it was worth it. Thank you.